93, 94, 95, when Luke was having an exhibition in Chicago at the Renaissance Society. And it's because of Luke that my work was shown in MhKA for the first time in 95? 99 in the Trouble Spot painting show. And so and then from Luke's introduction of my work into this space, I came to know Bartley Barr, who I met for the first time when I was in the documentary that Captain David curated in Picasso. And since then, every time I step out of the house and go over to Europe, somewhere or somehow I run into Bartley Barr, and every time I see him, he keeps telling me, yeah, we got to do something. We got to do something. And then Dieter came to Chicago and knocked on my door one day. And it's from that moment that the process for developing this show and creating this opportunity came into being. But also Oak Creek. I mean, that was probably one of the most precise, clearest, and really the deepest sort of analysis and interpretation of the work I've done that I've heard from anybody. And I really do appreciate the kind of investment in you put in actually looking and then thinking through the relationship between the work I've done and my position relative to history and the idea of history painting. So I also have to thank my wife Cheryl, who's been my strong right arm through many events like this and through those long nights that you find yourself working around the clock 24/7 sometimes before you get this stuff done that you have to ship out the next day. So I have to thank her. My stepdaughter Sydney is here. They just come in from California a couple of days ago, and her friend Austin. There are many other friends. Stephanie Smith from the Smart Museum at the University of Chicago is here. Eric McKissick and his wife Cheryl, who have been great supporters and collectors and who own one of the works that's in the show. Jack Shaman is back there somewhere. Where's Jack? Where? Oh, I know where. But Jack and I have been working together for over 23 years, I believe. You know, and he's been a great supporter and has done so much to help sort of guide my work along the path that it's taken. And so I really appreciate the work we've done together over all this time. I see Laurence myself, who actually, you know, when Dieter came to my studio back, what was that, 2011? We were sitting at the table talking, and he looked at a piece of paper that was pinned to the wall, and it happened to be a letter from Laurence Russell from the Tapias Foundation that had been sitting on my wall for about 4 years. Because then I kept saying, I need to get back to her at some point, but somehow or other I never got a chance to. But here we are now, sort of working together. But at any rate, you know what, I hope you enjoyed what you've seen so far, and I hope that that the work appears to be engaging enough for you to spend what I think is the kind of time the work requires in order to really comprehend what my objectives as an artist and as a painter have been. It can be a little confusing sometimes with the multiplicity of things you might see, and people will wonder sometimes, why is he all over the place? Why are there so many different kinds of things? But if you look at all these things, there's a thread that runs through them all. And that thread that runs through them all is something that Oakley said. It's one of those ways. How is it that the black image or the black figure becomes a subject? And then how does that subject introduce itself or announce itself within the discourse of painting and or other modes of representation? So that's sort of the overarching sort of problem that I've been working through. And thank you all for coming.